Today we have a Lakewood S-223 and a mid-80s Eastern Electric, aka Lasko, and it's kind of an impromptu video. So the Eastern Electric, I have had, gosh, easily 5 years now. I did a video on that fan on its own to tell the backstory. It does have sentimental ties because it was for two reasons. One, I had something very similar to it when I was a little boy. I saved up my own money when I was about 5 years old and made my parents buy me one. And then after like a month or so, the switch wouldn't work and they threw it out on me. I tell that story. The other story with this particular fan is my son, his grandmother's neighbor is old woman, and near and dear to his heart. She's still alive, God bless her. She wanted to downsize her home and she kind of moved away. She moved from Massachusetts to Connecticut, and she knew my son liked fans. Yes, he does. And you've probably seen that on this channel. And gave him this fan and another fan. The other fan, we ended up selling or something like that. I forget what exactly happened to it. It wasn't a big deal. But this fan was totally locked up. And I tell the story in the video, I go through all that. And I basically had to rebuild it. The wicks were completely dry rotted and gone. So there went a lot of work into this. But physically, aside from some yellowing, it's great shape. So it just really locked up. This S-223, I've done, you've seen, if you follow the channel, you've seen, I've done a video on this fan. I've done a video on, I have two of them now. One of them I got on Marketplace for $10, I think, maybe $5, something like that, local to me. Not that I needed another one, but it's like Marketplace. It seems like if you get something in a close radius to you, which doesn't happen often to me, I go snag it. Why not, right? Because it's with the hobby, right? You're so torn because likely somebody will go, oh, I need a fan. Oh, I'm just gonna go on Marketplace. Oh, this one's $10. It looks pretty sturdy. I'm gonna buy it. And they just use it like they would use a 3733, and then that's it, goodbye. So I have this one. The reason I have them together, and some background, is I am at my Midwest location, which is, and to kind of lift the hood a little bit of why I have a Midwest location, my day job is physically located in the Midwest, and I travel here once a month as part of my day job, and therefore I have a location here that, or I should say a residence that I stay at. So the Eastern Electric I brought here because my son, for whatever reason, I think he was so young, he was like, oh, this fan's cool, but like, and then he kind of forgot about it, and I was telling him about it, and I sent him the video, or just shared the video with him that I did on it, and he goes, oh, I want that fan, that's really my fan. So I said okay. So typically at the Midwest location here, I don't have windows large enough to put box fans in a window, but I do have a door that kind of opens into the kitchen and living room area, and I've done a fans running video on this channel, and I just have it either pulling in air, or if it feels a little stale in here, I do just point it out, because I know it's protected from the sun. It's not going to get heavy use. I don't want to give it heavy use. I want to take care of it. So I thought here would be a good place because I'm only here once a month. So now that he wants it, I'm going to swap in this S-223. As I said, I have two of them. I actually snagged that one from the condo location, which is in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. And I will use that one here now. And if I'm so inclined and I miss it, I will just use the twin I have at the condo location. But off season, as we're really at the beginning of the off season now, if I'm looking just for some sleeping noise or whatever, I'll just use my 3733. you know, because I don't want to just run a classic box fan all the time year round. I'd rather just save that duty for a 3733. I don't have my meter with me because I thought it would be kind of cool to compare the energy consumption on these slightly different style blades. Obviously, different motor. The Eastern has that plastic motor, which is interesting that they went to that for a time. And even when they, I guess you could say, sound like I'm talking about a car, when they downsized this model in terms of they got rid of the badge on the front, they still used the same style blades, different hub. The cabinet was narrower, so like late 80s to early 90s before they made them with the rounded cabinets. They still used plastic motors, and then they switched to metal. And it's really fascinating, and maybe some of you guys know and could share in the comments. It's interesting that back then they went with the plastic and then they reverted to the metal, which they still use metal motors today. And the way we see things go, less metal, more plastic, I'm surprised that they went with plastic so early back in the 80s and then switched and went to metal. I have to say kudos to the manufacturers, because maybe there was a design flaw or something I'm not aware of. I do find with these plastic ones, because I had a, in the late 80s, I had a brand new, I bought it at a hardware store called Rockaway Sales in Hackettstown, New Jersey. Saved my money. I bought it was the choice between that or an equivalent at the time, Toastmaster. They sold both brand box fans in the hardware store, which you never see. It's usually one name brand. I only had whatever dollars I had saved up, and it was a few dollars more for the Toastmaster. I wanted the Toastmaster. My mom wouldn't help me out with a couple extra dollars, so I settled on a 1988, brand new 1988 Eastern Electric. And that, after a number of years, locked up pretty quickly, and a plastic motor. And this was locked up, and I know it has low hours, so I don't know if it has something to do with how that bearing sits in the plastic housing, heats up. I have no idea. But maybe someone who's more well-versed on the history of the motors can share that, because I would love to know. So again, I don't have my meter with me here, but this is more just an aesthetics kind of comparison. Really, this S-223 kind of sits on built-in feet, right? Where this it's kind of just sticks out from the grill. So I think if I actually measure cabinet to cabinet, yeah, the Lakewood sits just slightly higher and is slightly taller. So I would say cabinet size, they're the same height. Now, this is really hard. This is like comparing, two of your favorite cars. It's just like, where do you even say I like this or like that better? I guess the easy one is the handle. I do like the motor in the Lakewood better because it's easier to service. I just feel like these are reliable. I feel like you could get away with not taking care of them and they just run, where these will seize up. They're done. Probably the knob I probably like better on these, but these do, like, they, you can always tell Lakewood because they kind of make that creak, so you have to hit them with some of that that switch or electronic switch lubricant that I've yet to try. I bought it thanks to a follower or a commenter on the channel to try one time. They both really these go a little more hardcore with more screws on the guard. In this particular case, yeah, there's yellowing here. This one I don't think was ever really used in the window. Maybe this was the one I got on Marketplace. I can tell because it's a little bit better shape than my other. I haven't serviced this one yet since I acquired it this summer, but at some point I will, of course. But it's not in bad shape. So let's do a quick just fire them up and listen to them. Start with low. You know, that Lakewood startup sound. These have nice quiet lows that we're all used to. Do the Eastern. We go check out the spin down on that. This definitely has a louder startup sound and a louder low. But look at the spin down on the Lakewood. That's probably why I haven't serviced it yet, because it didn't seem stiff. And it's clearly not really dirty. A little dust on the cabinet. I think the Eastern throws off more air on low, just from feeling it. All right, check out the spin down on that. While we check out medium. The spin down on the Eastern is pretty good. Look at that, wow. That's stuck. That thing was so stiff that to see that spin down was awesome. So this throws out pretty good air, not too loud. See, I know some people, I know it's just opinion, have a problem with loud fans. I only have a problem with a loud fan if it doesn't perform well. If it's throwing off a lot of air, I don't care how loud it is, and I can sleep with loud white noise. All right, so medium on the Eastern. In fact, there's the Galaxy counterpart to this. There's a couple I've noticed on eBay. I mean, very expensive. And I think someone actually has a pair of blue bladed Galaxies with the box on eBay for $1,200, which I won't touch that. But I know there's a cult following for those. They're really cool. I would love to own them, but I'm not spending $1,200 or $600 for one if they would sell one. That throws off a lot of air. I'm starting to think the Eastern puts out more air. I mean, the Lakewood's no joke. We know Lakewoods are no joke. They're probably where the bar is set during this time period. Check out spin down. I know I should have just jumped to high, but it's just kind of fun. All right, let's do high. And sometimes I try to move the camera away from the wind stream, but in some crazy way, I'm trying to get you guys to be able to judge if it's noisier, depending on which fan. All right, this does a good job. This is high. I feel with the Lakewoods, they may not be the most, I mean, they put out a lot of air. They do a really good job of that. But I don't feel like they're overly loud, and I don't feel like they're overpowering at the same time. However, they are also like steady Freddy. They just go and go and go and go and go. All right, high. Oh yeah. Feel that air. All right, so for me, being here, just feeling the air, just my opinion, not factoid information, of course. I feel like the Eastern Electric, from a air performance, outperforms the Lakewood. Lakewood is no slouch. If this was like, I was comparing these fans and they were brand new, and this is back in the 80s or whenever they were manufactured, and I was comparing the two, I would say Eastern Electric for just more airflow, more power, maybe not physical power because I don't have my meter with me, but just it feels more powerful. However, if you're looking for a fan that's going to last forever, it's 2024. These Lakewoods are still all over the place. eBay is full of them. They're all over Marketplace. Us collectors have usually more than one. We have multiples of these things. And usually when we find them, people don't even take great care of them. We rescue them. That's saying a lot about the reliability, durability, and how they were built. These Easterns, Galaxies, Laskos, Sears, they don't have that kind of reliability. They, like I talked about before, they lock up, not quite as durable. Those handles, it's amazing that this handle is on this fan. I never pick it up by the handle because I want to preserve it. But we know the handles break. So if you're looking for something for the long term, you're going with Lakewood. If you're looking for, hey, I have a summer home, I just run this thing only a few times a year when I'm there, I need something powerful, I went to Eastern. Or you might say, I like the look of the Eastern better. For me, for the look, it's like a tie. It's a tie. For me, if you put a gun to my head and said you can't turn this camera off until you pick one, I'm probably just by like a whisker going to say the Lakewood. I think because I like the look of the hub a little bit better for whatever reason, and this is just purely just my opinion. The Eastern hub probably is more effective because it has the openings. These earlier models, the earlier blade sets had the openings. Now I think this does have the one opening there, and I would love to hear from somebody if they've been able to get the tube from a zoom spout through that one opening into the oil port without removing the blades. I hate removing the blades in Lakewood. It is a pain in the you-know-what. These are much easier. So for servicing, I guess, that's another way of looking at it. For us hobbyists, servicing, this is easier to service. However, these seem to need less servicing. And when I say that, I say it with a caveat because we know these have oil ports. So the back, you just, a few drips, pop off the blades. Some not easy, but pop off the blades, oil port, you don't even have to open it up. But if you have to open it up, definitely I want to work on this. It's easier to get the blades off. I know, so I think they have, some of those hubs have like the the clamp on it. Can't really tell if that does or does not. So I'm gonna flip them around. From a thickness standpoint, you can't really see, so I'll be your eyes. I mean, they're the same. So they're really physically the same. And I know these are heavy. That Eastern weighs a ton as well. I love it though. We'll just do take a look at the back. I won't do the whole high, medium, low thing on the back, but we'll just give it a look-see, as they say. You know, I've always had a thing for the D blades. Of course, I always like the fat blades on the Lakewood too. You know, the Edison Comfort fans. You guys hear me talk about those fans all the time. But something about the support on here, I dig it. Just like how it kind of has the opening comes up like that. I think it looks really sharp with the D blades stuck in there. It actually reminds me, in a way, I think like the old Edison Eskimo fans, maybe not even the full-size ones. Yeah, I think the full-size ones kind of had that same shape. I think that could be maybe why I like it. I don't know. I also really like, for some reason, especially on the like the light blue Lakewoods, I love the somebody scratched the heck out of my, I don't know how I did that. I really like on those light blue fans the color. It's just the color contrast, and here you get some of that with the tan, or whatever you want to call it, the peach color against the off-white blades. Here it just kind of all blends, but these are sharp. So I'll just fire them up together. Really nice looking fans. It is interesting how the switches are on opposite sides. I wonder why. I wonder why that happens. It's interesting to watch the spin down together. If you before even turning these on, if you said what would have the better spin down, I would put my money on the Lakewood, just because oil port's easier, whatever. My experience with those plastic motors, they seem to seize up, but not in this case. All right, so let me know what you think in the comments. This was kind of an impromptu video, and maybe at some point when I get this one back to my son, that's where the twin to this one resides, I can maybe do another video just with the energy consumption, but that might be boring because we've already run through everything else on it. So thanks for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe. If you're into box fans, if you haven't been on this channel before, we got a ton of them. I had some guy comment recently on one of the fan videos and said, "You must have 50 box fan videos here. What the heck is going on?" I don't think he realized that there's like it's a hobby. So if you're still out there, here's another one. Maybe we can bring you in as a collector as well. So as I like to do, we're gonna leave you in full force, and we will see you in the next one.